morning. I'm live. This is Dr. Mia Lueth. It is 9:48 a.m., January 8th, 2026. And I am putting this up in response to some things that I have seen online recently. I've listened to these podcasts and I've read some of these interviews, and I'm gonna put a perspective out there I haven't heard anyone talk about yet when it comes to NHL goalies. Okay, uh, there are people who are just sure that NHL goalies are just not as good as they used to be, and there used to be really good superstar goalies all over the league, and there are no longer. And also, a side note, I understood what Bennington was trying to relay to his bench. Okay? Like, he's the player, he knows better than the coach, and he just wanted to stick it out. You understand? Stick it out with his team. And, sometimes coaches aren't really sure and they'll try and do a mercy pull, or you understand? And so, but if your goalie's just insistent, then you just let your goalie win or lose with the team. You just let him go. So I understood what Bennington was doing. Some of you apparently don't. There are a lot of outspoken, people who aren't well informed and have not been, with the league and paying attention to all things NHL and AHL and everything else. There are a lot of them. So what I am going to make some perspectives here. All right. Well, if you look at the 2004-2005 lockout CBA year, okay, some of the rules, okay, it was agreed upon that some things would change. All right. And a lot of them were put in place so that a lot of you whining and complaining about boring ice hockey, because there weren't, before that point, there was, like a decade or two where they were lower scoring games. And that's another reason why the 3-point system was made, so that one, you're not kissing your sister in a tie, but two, right, so that you could, end the game in a certain period of time. And yes, it allows certain TV times out, but it also allows a lot of people to get out of the building, and shows and other things, right, to happen on schedule. Okay? But as for the goalies, those rules, regulations, all those things were put in place to have more, air quote, exciting, high scoring NHL games. That's why. I know this because I read all the interviews. I listened to the NHL perspective. I listened to the players' perspectives. I listened to coaches' perspectives. I listened to fan perspectives. Okay? So they slowly got put in. It also made the NHL more dangerous. For one thing. For your entertainment, people. I mean, sit down and think about the kind of person you are, please. And you can go ahead and hate on me. Aim it right at me. Fine. Okay? The Winnipeg Jets, that's my fault. Just aim it at me. Okay? When it comes to goalies, all that, okay, was not for the benefit of goalies. I can assure you, it was for the benefit of skaters, so that they could play faster, more exciting, less boring, high scoring ice hockey. I mean, You go talk to NHL proper and look, and you'll see that I'm correct. And I'm not telling you any falsehoods, and I'm well researched because I'm a mega nerd, is what I am. Okay, so that's essentially why. Okay, a few of them since then, yeah, there was a half year lockout, and there were some things that were looked at. And for goalies, yes, there's a little more room. They made the net a little more narrow, so goalies would have a little more room and less excuse for players who air quote accidentally bumped into them back there. Okay, a few things did benefit the goalies. However, for the larger part of it, okay, all these things were put in place to make less boring, more exciting, high scoring NHL ice hockey, which again made collisions and things like Mr. Hayden Fleury from the Jets, right? They're skating faster and they're picking up more speed. He hit that thing at speed. And you could tell by how quickly his legs came off. And not only did it break his nose, but it bruised his back. And high speed collisions, much more prevalent in the National Hockey League these days. Okay, there's more injuries that happen based on high speed collisions because once they took out the red line and certain things, right? Okay, well, here's what your exciting, high scoring, non air quote boring ice hockey is doing to the players who have to go out there and do that for you every day. They're at higher risk for serious injury than they used to be. And the goalies, basically, right, only a couple things were done to benefit the goalies, but it doesn't change the fact that the reason all this was being done was so that there could be more high scoring, faster, more exciting ice hockey for people who apparently don't give a shit about other human beings. The goalies are actually better than they used to be. Okay? Their reflexes faster. But again, all that was put into place so that there could be faster, more exciting, high scoring. Now, some of you who have been in the league and you're opening your mouths. Yeah, I'm actually talking to whoever, pro, semi-pro. I don't care who you are. Sit down, be quiet, and reflect on what I'm saying to you, including previous goalies, some of whom didn't want to win any awards, and some of whom, right, were actually backups. And like, okay, you understand what I'm trying to tell you? As human beings, just look at this. All of that was put in place so that there could be more high scoring, more air quote exciting, faster ice hockey. So obviously, it all works against the goalies. The goalies don't suck. Yes, they have faster reflexes these days. So, those of you who played ice hockey and those of you who are outspoken about it, I mean, like I'm trying to tell you, you might not want to be so adamant about your opinion, because if you think about what I'm saying to you, that's a really stupid question. And it's disrespectful to every single ice hockey goalie who's ever stepped foot on pro or semi-pro ice. The entire league and all the franchises and everything that was done so that there could be more exciting, high speed, faster, right, higher goal scoring, more goals, more exciting, which all works against the goalies. The goalies were too good before, apparently. I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and you guys can keep ignoring me. But I think that some people, especially if you used to, you don't understand ice hockey or the national hockey. And it's pretty clear. And trust me, you really want to be pushing certain issues. Your grandkids are going to like watch this one day and be like, holy shit, Poppy, Papa, whatever. You're not so brave. And you're mean. All of it was put together in order to give you guys faster, more exciting, less boring ice hockey, which causes more high-speed injuries, which are a little more deadly than some of the other things. Right. I mean, the kind of injuries that started happening after that, right, were injuries that were much more devastating. But you don't care as long as you are entertained. I disagree with all of you. And the goalies have actually gotten better. I mean, you clearly don't give a shit about human beings. But as long as you're entertained and you're not bored. Oh, you don't want to hear that. So we got to shut down the little girl who's, right, speaking truth. Okay, go Jets, go. By the way, if I do see where it's a goalie issue or whatever, I mean, I will openly say, yes, okay, this goalie's having some. If I don't think the goalie is having too many struggles, that's probably, not what's happening. Is you're having struggles understanding even how the NH works. And starting to realize that a lot of you open your mouths and said shit out loud that not only was wrong, but disrespectful. Not very hockey intelligent. You may not want to hear that from me, but I'm going to say it out loud because there are perspectives in ice hockey, right, that really don't get listened to. And maybe trying to be a slightly better person would also to save you the embarrassment of saying certain things when there's a very simple answer, a very clear, simple, and obvious answer. The entirety of the National Hockey League started moving toward more exciting, faster, high pace skating and more goals, higher scoring. So, no, today's goals don't suck.